Baruch here with genConnect.com, and I'm joined today by Academy Award nominee Stuart Sender, the director of Harmony. How are you, Stuart?
Really great, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
My
So
pleasure.
what motivated Harmony?
Well, the truth is Harmony was really motivated by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, who most people would know as Prince Charles. But what a lot of people don't know is that for 40 years, he's been a leading global environmentalist. He's been an organic farmer for 35 years. He's had a foundation that looks at corporate social responsibility in the environment for more than a quarter century. And that the issues that we look at in this movie, how the food we eat, the cities we live in, the business we do, the way we treat our natural environment, our oceans and our forests, and the way we treat each other and ourselves are really intimately connected. And that's kind of the driving force around Harmony. And it's his way of integrating his work, and we kind of all dropped into this kind of crazy adventure together.
You've been the force behind so many incredibly successful documentaries. Why do we need documentaries? What do they do to really tell a story in a very different way?
Well, I think if we look at the case of this film, what we're really trying to say is that a lot of issues, a lot of ways of looking at the world that people often see as separate are really very joined up. So this was a film that we hoped that by telling stories about real people around the world and connected to a kind of unique message and messenger, right? That the kind of royal factor would bring people to the movie. But once they got there, they'd realize that the film was really not just about the prince, but about kind of the principles. And that a documentary film like this one, which ended up first screening for a national audience on NBC, and then we've been able to screen for audiences around the world, kind of opens people up to a different way of looking at things, and we've heard that from people. We've heard from people that after seeing the movie, they've made commitments to convert their farm to organics. We've heard from 12-year-old boys that they finally felt like they got this in a way that somebody wasn't talking down to them. We heard from business people that they really felt like their kind of difficulty of looking at the bottom line of their business and how they can be better stewards of the environment was addressed in a way that they felt like they can be included in a conversation. And we've heard from environmentalists that, you know, they remember why they're doing the work that they're doing, and that it kind of joins up their heads and their hearts. And so if we can touch people a little bit in their minds and get them moved a little bit emotionally, then, you know, we've hopefully done something useful.
Of course, you're known for your films now, but you started out in television, and you had the opportunity to produce the first interview with Nelson Mandela right after he got out. Now that he's in the condition that he's in, and we're starting to think about his legacy, what do you think his legacy will be?
I just need to take a breath because, you know, unique is a word that gets overused. He's a unique person in history. What he was able to do in terms of not just showing us what, you know, a kind of sacrifice and personal commitment is, but when he came out of prison and he kind of picked up in a way right where he started and he said, you know, I've always fought against white domination and I've always fought against black domination. And that underneath this political struggle is this kind of larger human one. And his ability to forgive and his ability to kind of move on and then to function practically and to govern and to become the president of his country is, you know, is unparalleled. And I think about being here at the Ideas Fest, I was able to be part of an effort that was called South Africa Now. And the program started as a response to press censorship, where the white government in South Africa said no more images of violence. Now we live in a world where, you know, we see images all the time, but the challenge, I think, is about how do we put these things in context. You know, the world watched when Nelson Mandela came out of prison, and the world is on a watch now because he seems to be close to death. But the real challenge still is how do we look in like a thoughtful and careful and systematic way about like what happened in between and what happens next, right, in our everyday lives. And so I'm happy that there's a place where we can sort of talk about this stuff. You know, we're seeing what's going on in Tahrir Square again in Egypt today, and I think it raises like a lot of big questions. And his life, you know, is a big inspiration, but I think it's also a big lesson about how we can live. Like it shouldn't seem like something so far away we can't quite touch it, you know.
Stuart Sender, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for more with Stuart Sender and to learn more about his incredible work, be sure to check out genConnect.com.